Hi, my name is Vickie Fairchild. Today I want to talk about why I think that speech therapists are so awesome. That may seem like a really weird topic, but it didn't take me long after I started working in the field of special education to decide that speech therapists had the toughest job. I do not want to offend any of my fellow school psychologists. I do not want to offend any teachers. All of the jobs in special education have their strengths, their challenges, their weaknesses. It's a tough field. But I want to explain why I very quickly decided that we just needed to treat our speech therapists a lot better. A lot better. And I'm a numbers person. Maybe that comes with the job of school psychologist. So I'm going to share some numbers with you. And for you parents out there, I hope this explains something you might see sometimes when you come to an IEP, maybe a frazzled speech therapist. And for my fellow special education colleagues, I hope you are able to come to understand that maybe we need to treat our speech therapists a little better. And for my general education friends out there, I want you to let these numbers just sink in. Okay, here we go. These are my first set of numbers that I want us to think about. There are 180 days in school. See that number? 180. Woo! What is that 55? In my state, the speech therapists in a school setting can have up to 55 students on their caseload. 55. Okay. Let's look at those numbers again. 180, 55. Why is that significant? Speech therapists are often assigned to two sites. These students are seen if they have language-based disorders twice a week. And so while they are seeing these 55 students weekly, sometimes twice a week, within a 6-hour school day, let all that sink in, they are doing assessments and IEPs. So again, here we go. These numbers are important. 180 days of schools, 55 cases. Okay. Now, what are these IEPs? What are these IEPs? Let's talk about it. So, we have, there we go, an initial IEP, an annual IEP, what I call a first annual, a second annual, and then at the bottom there, the triennial IEP. Now, I have stars by the initial and the triennial IEP because guess what? Those require evaluations. So if you look at those IEPs, I'm going to explain something to you why those are so important. And it's these two numbers. On average, now it doesn't work this way on the calendar, but this is just for perspective's sake. Okay. A speech therapist has an IEP every 3 days of school. Every 3 days, they produce an IEP document. And as I have said in a previous video, some of these IEP documents, if you only fill out 1 page per type of page, per form, can be 20 pages long. Okay, every 3 days. What's the second number? 6. Every 6 days, a speech therapist is completing a full evaluation. Because, going back to this form, the initial and the triennial, half of their IEPs require assessments. Whoa, okay, let that sink in. General education teachers, let that sink in. Your speech therapist is, let's go back, how many? Providing therapy to 55 students is having an IEP every 3 days, on average, and doing a full speech and language evaluation every 6 days to accompany that IEP. It would take a secretary to schedule all of those, in my opinion. So I watch speech therapists in awe, because while I generally, as a school psychologist, did 60 to 90 evaluations every school year, I did 60 to 90 evaluations, which, granted, were pretty intense, but I did it without having to provide therapy for 55 kids. So, speech therapists, you are rock stars. I want everyone to let these numbers sink in. We'll go across the page. 180 days, 55 on the caseload. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. And maybe, dear parents, when your speech therapist has some typos, or is a little frazzled, or a day late, you will have some more compassion, because it is a really, really difficult job.